Hello, welcome to Wellness Wednesday. Toxicity, this one thing that is creating dis-ease in our world. So this is our topic for today, and I really wanted to share this with you guys because it was something that I've known so much about. Like, I've always been interested in. I always talk about how we can decrease toxicity in our life. However, I'm always learning, I'm always growing, developing. And I was on a webinar at the start of the week around thyroid health, particularly. So many of my clients come to me with issues with their thyroid when their doctors have said, no, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. So while I had quite an in-depth knowledge around thyroid health, I felt I wanted to dive deeper. And so I did. And one of my incredible mentors, who's actually a lecturer, Daniel Reuters, explained more about thyroid, how to read panels a bit better, and also about how toxicity is the one thing that is creating dis-ease in our body. So regardless of the label, and I try to steer away from labels because I feel that that can really disempower us if that is a disempowering label, like diabetes or cancer, or things like that, or we're given timelines like 5 months to live, or this is going to be a lifelong issue. Like one of my beautiful friends and colleagues, Meg, who was told that she'd have the eating disorder for the rest of her life. Like, can be so disempowering to put labels on things. So I really want to talk to how our modern day life is creating this dis-ease in our body, be it thyroid issues, hormone issues, be it cancer, diabetes, heart disease, anything. So I really want to talk to that today. And I want to talk about the different ways that toxicity can build up in our world, in our lives, in our environment. And it's getting, I hate to say, I'm going to cover off on some of the, really negative stuff to start off. It's our modern day lives. We are surrounded by toxicity. So no wonder we are getting sicker and sicker and sicker with these lifestyle diseases. But as always, it is how we also think about things, our mind health, how we approach things, how we choose not to play victim to these labels, and how we decide to choose to live our life moving forward. I shared a beautiful video from my gorgeous mentor, colleague Meg, around learning to respond and not react. It's really easy to do that in current day circumstances, and also when our health may be not optimal and we're thinking, why am I feeling like this? So the big one, water supply and our pipes. So I'm going to touch on a few of these things to give you an idea of, to start to think, okay, what potentially may be in my environment that's creating more toxicity in my body and therefore dis-ease. And I'll talk more about what that toxicity actually looks like, where it goes, what it does as we go through today. So thinking about like water, are you drinking town water, chloride, fluoride, like all of these chemicals in there to kill all these bugs? I'm actually jumping on a webinar tonight around immune system and germ theory. So hold tight. There'll be more information most likely coming about all the bugs next week. Can't wait to share that. But, thinking about, they put all these things in our water supply that's actually killing our gut microbes. But also, I'm going to kind of jump forward to talking about hormone health, and particularly thyroid. Our thyroid hormones, to do what they need to do in our thyroid, they need iodine. And this is something that can be thrown out of the formula of our thyroid hormones when things like chlorine and fluoride are in the mix. So if you're drinking town water that's not filtered, this is going to be having the biggest impact on your thyroid. So please, please, please look into water filters. If you go to greentaraWellness.com.au, type in water filter, type in chlorine, fluoride, things like that, you'll find stuff. But it's like looking at, okay, am I having fluoride in my toothpaste? Even showering and bathing, like these chemicals, not only just by drinking them, but on our skin it can absorb in, but when they get heated up, they vaporize. We actually breathe them into our lungs. So it's going into our lungs, and what we take in through our lungs goes into our body. So It's not just what we drink, it's what we're bathing in. So there are so many different filters and stuff you can look into. And if you want more information on that, type filters in the comment and I can get you some information to that. Hey, probably should do a blog post on it as well as what we use and some options out there. But there is so much around, like, all of the stuff our houses are made of, like God knows what's in that. And, some of this stuff we can't control. So it's just about being aware and decreasing the toxic load. So fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, all the chemicals in our skincare, chemicals in the products we use in our homes, chemicals we wash our clothes in, what we wash our dishes in, gluten, dairy, alcohol, refined sugar, like those inflaming foods that, are coated in pesticides, refined processed foods that are just chemicals, drugs, electromagnetic frequencies, stress, the biggest one. And like, I'm surrounded daily by screens and phones and, there's electricity obviously all through the house. Like, the rates of electromagnetic frequencies that we are exposed to are just probably 100-fold, even on a couple of decades ago. However, there are so many incredible lifestyle things, strategies, food ideas that we can do to combat this and to start to decrease that toxic load. It's not about doing it all. Gosh, not even I do all of this. It's been literally like a 5-year process of starting to reduce these things. And some of the stuff that I know now, I didn't even have any idea about even 5-10 years ago. We're always evolving. So know that you're exactly where you're meant to be on your journey with this. So there's a little soapbox. But it's no wonder we're getting sick and lifestyle diseases are going up. It's not genetics, it's modern day life, and it's significantly harming us. So what I want you to encourage you to do is see what lands with this, do your own research, take what I say, investigate it more if you need, but just really looking at how can you decrease your toxic load in your home and also in the foods that you're eating and everything. So it's an extensive list, sometimes easier said than done. But right now, there are so many things that are disrupting our body's balance. And I want to talk about 3 main things, 3 phases, I suppose, that we can focus on working on detoxification naturally of our bodies that Daniel, my beautiful mentor, outlined. So firstly, our bodies always try to maintain homeostasis. So homeostasis being that constant internal environment in our bodies, like our blood pressure, right? Our temperature of our body, the pH in our body. This is homeostasis, where our body has these feedback mechanisms to always bring it back into balance. However, when the system gets overloaded with all of this toxicity, like it's one on top of the other, it's a compounding effect. This is when disease can show up. Also, when we couple this with nutritional deficiencies, more on that in a second. So the body needs to be able to have nutrition, like it needs to be able to be getting the adequate nutrition in. It also needs to be able to have strong detoxification pathways, because if we don't have the nutrients, our body doesn't have the strength, it doesn't have what it needs to function optimally. And if our detoxification systems are down, all these toxins come into our system and we're unable to manage them very well. So the body starts to struggle. And guess what happens? When the body starts to struggle and it can't detoxify all these toxins, it slows down our metabolism. So and you guys know that I never ever focus on weight here. It's all about healthy living. But have you ever in the past attempted to lose weight? You've been eating really well, you've been exercising, but you just can't shift that weight, particularly that midsection weight. This is because our body always wants to maintain that homeostasis. It always wants to protect us. So it actually slows down our metabolism to increase our adipose, our fat tissue, so that it can store those toxins, because that is where the body prefers to store the toxins, in fat rather than in our organs. So our bodies aren't being naughty. They're actually doing the right thing and they're protecting us. They want to protect us. Now, the big thing, particularly with thyroid health, is that these toxins target, particularly heavy metals, target our thyroid. So heavy metals, you know, can get things from like old copper pipes, things like that. Heavy metals in our foods, in our environment, like water, things that we're taking in can be full of these heavy metals. And our thyroid particularly can really wear down our thyroid and impact our thyroid health. So what can we do about this? Enough of the doom and gloom. Let's start to, the big thing that I want you to take away from this, and I just really am so passionate about this, is your health and your well-being is in your hands. It is in your control. So many people get a diagnosis, get a label, they fall victim to that, and they think, oh, well, there's nothing I can do about it. And they turn to drugs, pharma. And yes, I definitely know and believe that there is a place for both natural and also mainstream medicine in things. Like if I was in a car accident, yes, I'm so thankful that I have a hospital to go and help, all of those things. But it's very often that instant gratification. I want to fix it now. I want it to work now. And health can be a process. So really, really, really focusing on being empowered, knowing that the signs and symptoms your body is telling you is it's crying out for help. It's wanting to protect you. And you do have the control to be able to change your health, no matter where you are, what's happening. There's a huge, huge, huge aspect of our mind health that comes into this, that law of attraction. It's a topic for another day, but please believe me when I say this, that you have so much. Your health is in your hands, and you can change things. So let's talk about what we can do. There's 3 steps. We remove the cause, we nourish and repair secondly, and we detoxify. So let's start with the first step. Ask yourself, how many of those toxins mentioned before, modern life, are you exposed to? The heavy metals, the water, the stress, the electromagnetic frequencies. Like, do you have your phone right beside your bed at night? I always have mine either out of the room or on flight mode with no EMFs floating around. What nutritional deficiencies are you dealing with? You know, iron is a huge one for our thyroid. Iron is needed in those reactions in our thyroid. Chemicals, what are you putting on your body and your skin? Even what clothes you're wearing, like the less natural fibers and things like that. So, what can you start to focus on from there? Once you've identified the cause, how can you start to nourish and repair the body? So this is things like, how can I work on my mind health around this? How can I support, you know, eating a wholesome, mainly organic, you know, do the clean 15 dirty dozen diet? How can I support my nutritional deficiencies, like food first always, but do I need a bit of a top up? What can I do to support my detoxification pathways? So liver support. And once we've done that, then we move into phase 3. So first of all, identify the cause, identify nutritional deficiencies, work on those, work on removing as many of the causes as possible. And then once we start to decrease the exposure to these toxins, then we can start to detoxify. Because if we start to detoxify too early, the body can just be like, this is too much, and have a bit of a meltdown. So this is where you can bring things in like saunas, because you can detox out of your skin. It's one of our largest organs. Dry brushing is really good. Lymphatic massage, because the lymph system helps to move things out. Herbs. So there's so many things we can do to support our detoxification pathways naturally. And I'm not about detoxes. I'm not about, you know, going and saying, you know, do this detox and do that detox. No, it's about supporting your body by decreasing the toxic load, crowding out, adding in more of the good stuff, and naturally seeing your body start to function as it was designed. Because as I said, it's made to do that. It's made to protect us and look after us. So there you have it. We need to focus on removing the cause, nourishing and repairing, and detoxifying. We also want to give time for this to work, 3 to 6 months, to see how this works and to see the body start to heal itself. It's not an overnight thing, as I said, unfortunately. So what can you do to get started from today? We spoke about a whole list of things that lead to toxicity. There's so much more, and there's so much more that I could talk about, but I want to keep this to the 15 minutes today. We spoke about, you know, the ways to remove the cause, nourish and repair, and detoxify. So what are 1 to 3 things that you can do this week? Well, let's start with 3 things. Write down 3 things that you can do this week to start to look at what you're doing in those, water, food, what you're putting on your skin, things like that, stress, EMFs. So looking at the 3 things that you might think you'd like to focus on first, then choose your first step. What is your first step going to be? So you might go, okay, I'm going to look at water filters, research that, and then I'm going to look at electromagnetic frequencies, and I'm going to look at what laundry detergent I'm using. So my first step is tonight, I'm going to put my phone on flight mode or put it out of the bedroom, so I've got decreased exposure of EMFs while I'm sleeping. Really important that time of the day at night when we're focusing on rest and repair. Big love. I trust that was helpful. Comment below. Let me know what you loved most about this video. And as always, please share with anyone you know that would benefit from this. Hello, everyone. We're all living a modern day life. And stay safe and well. And I'll see you next week, most likely around immunity. So stay tuned for that one. And I will see you then. Bye.